Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing episode of Keeping It Real. It's episode 97, and today we do have the world's greatest roofer in the house.
Let's go.
We always have the world's greatest roofer, but I guess technically, legally speaking, now today we also have both of the world's greatest roofers.
I'm the second greatest roofer today. Nick's here.
Well, there you go. I was counting myself, but Nick's there as well. So we've got TJ McCormick in the house. TJ, welcome to Keeping It Real. I've been wanting to talk with you for a long time, and I'm looking forward to this. So,
yeah, no doubt, man. I'm excited to be here today. I've also watched your show, and I'm like, when am I ever going to be on Keeping It Real?
Here we are. Magic's about to happen, my friend. So before we get really deep into our conversation, which I've done for my second episode in a row, last week with Jim Johnson, I actually had a diagram set of notes on the questions, and it actually went fairly well. So decided I'm going to start giving preparation a little bit of a shot and see how it works. So I've got some stuff here, but we do have a surprise guest that we'd like to bring on here to start our episode of Keeping It Real. And if you would like to do the introductions, I will do the I will bring this young man onto the screen here. You tell us who we're about to talk to.
You know what? I'm fresh at Roofr, but one of my great friends at Roofr, Nic Capobianco, is going to come on, and he's going to talk a little bit about Roofr and what some of the things that we're working on now, and then also maybe a few things in the future.
Awesome. So without any further hesitation, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Nic to the program. Nic, how are you doing this morning, my friend?
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
Awesome. Good, hey, before we even get started, your mustache is on point, man.
Thank you.
That's powerful right there. I respect it.
It's grown since the last time I saw you at RoofCon. So it's
amazing. Yes. So welcome to Keeping It Real. This is episode 97, and we've got bonus content here today. We've got Nic with my favorite. I'm saying this now publicly again. I say this a lot, but now I've actually got some clout with some roofer guys here. My favorite program in the industry, which is Roofr. And Nic, I'm glad to have you here. Why don't you tell our fans a little bit about Roofr and some of the things it offers? Because I think, like I said, it is the best in the industry. And I'm hoping maybe one day I can have a little Roofr logo somewhere on the screen of my podcast. I'm just throwing that out there. But
you know what? That's why we brought Nic here, because he's got all the money, and we want to make sure that he says yes, everything goes.
So there you go. Well, the floor is yours, my friend. Tell everybody about why they want to use your program, and I back it up 100%. So go for it.
I appreciate it. But just on TJ's point with all the money, I do, but it's only Canadian money. So like that's the problem that I'm dealing with.
It's not worth that much.
Not worth a lot compared to what you guys got. But awesome. Well, Chuck, it's been a pleasure to get to know you over the years. And thank you so much for those kind words. Like you said, Roofr, we're an all-in-one sales platform. So you can go from capturing a lead with an instant estimator, qualifying it, turning it into a measurement, either DIY or ordering the report for some of the best prices and the fastest turnarounds in the industry. And then from there, with one click, turn it into a really detailed, beautiful proposal that you could send out, you could track, you could e-sign, and then sync it with Company Cam, sync it with your CRM if they have a Zapier integration as well. And it's again, all-in-one sales platform to streamline your flow, to increase your revenue, increase your closes, and increase your average sale price.
Yeah,
and pretty much does everything.
Don't forget one of the biggest tools that we have right now is that instant estimator tool in the websites.
It makes such a big difference there. That instant estimator this is our third iteration of it. So we had it with the marketplace back in the day. Then we brought it to just a individual item that was on your site with like a widget and stuff. And now it's back. It's better than ever. It's about to get even better in the next week with some crazy updates coming out. Yeah, it's been a blast. It can go on your site. It's a shareable link as well. It can go on your Facebook and your videos and your ads, QR codes, text it out to people, drop it into Facebook groups and Nextdoor or whatever the case is. Because actually, I'll pose a question to you, Chuck. Do you know one of the most Googled things by homeowners looking for a new roof is?
Oh, goodness. No, I don't. Please tell me. This is a learning experience.
Yeah, it's how much does my roof cost, or how much does a roof cost? And it's a pretty simple thing. Like, you got to think about homeowners. They don't know a lot about their roof. Hopefully it's one of the first times they're ever going to do it. And being able to give them that information in 30 seconds or less, and then capturing their information so you can follow up, is a game changer in the industry.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's something that's been very intriguing. And I will say this about Roofr. I've been here with my company, Rio Blanco in San Antonio since March of 2019.
Wow.
And I feel like you guys kind of came out around that same time, right? So I remember using it the very first time early on and thinking, man, there's something good about this one. I've used all these programs, but for some reason, like this one just stuck. And to see you guys grow to the level that you have in just 3.5 years or whatever it's been is amazing. But tell me a little bit about that. When you guys got started with this, what was the plan? Was it to ultimately, have these other tools that you bring into it? Was the measuring tool just kind of a secondary item, or what was the game plan for this program coming out of the gate? And have you guys exceeded or met your expectations?
Yeah, great question. The Genesis story is actually pretty cool. So Richard, our CEO, is a third generation roofer. His dad actually taught my dad how to roof. My dad taught me and Richard how to roof, and we started when we were 12 years old. And we were in the industry for a long time. Richard left my dad's company, went to one of the largest residential roofing companies in where we're from in Toronto, and he was just like, there's something wrong with this system. Like, there's a better way to do it. So he went out with Kevin, our CTO, and built out a marketplace, which is our instant estimator V1, right? It was basically, we would put it on our site, drive traffic to it. Homeowners would come to us asking for quotes. We would then, it would be on me, qualify them and send them out to local roofers that we fully vetted. So it was a really awesome marketplace. And we would get them to upload quotes. We would then talk about those quotes with the homeowners and sell those jobs for those roofers. And then we would kind of have that moving. So we did that in Ontario, Canada, California, and Florida for a period of probably around 3 years. It was great. Like, I was selling with our old instant estimator 50 to 80 roofs a month virtually over the phone. It was like a really good feature, but it was taking too long to
Imagine
get
that was years ago, Chuck. So imagine transition to now where we are today.
That's with no
Exactly.
measurement tool. Yeah. That's with no proposal tool. And that's actually what started the measurements idea. We were complaining to these roofers, like, dude, it's taking so long to get these quotes out and we're losing out to other people. And what's the issue? And they're like, well, we've got to drive out to this roof. So we created a DIY tool, which was the original one in 2018. And then we've turned it into, we would do it for you. And that's kind of where the measurement started. And then it was, hey guys, your quotes look like garbage. Like, it's like pen and paper, carbonite, and we're losing out because we're not dealing with like cheap fly-by-night roofers. We're dealing with qualified roofers that have been around for a long time, and trying to have that price conversation and what the difference is to roofers that they don't know about and they don't really care about doing their roof. It's kind of hard. So we developed a proposal tool to kind of show that this company is the person that you should be going with. And those two things became very successful, and we closed down the marketplace because it just wasn't working as well as everything else. And we took that instant estimator tool and gave it out as a item that you could put on your website. Then just from there was some limitations to it. It wasn't as good as where we wanted it to be. It wasn't as customizable as we wanted it to be. So we closed that down and relaunched it back in September for our version 3.
Nice.
I like it. So you guys are seeing some amazing results with that, I'm sure. Let me ask a kind of a little bit off the topic question, but not really. I mean, you guys have come up with something extremely innovative, and obviously there have been other versions of similar platforms throughout the course of time that have tried, and some have done really well, some haven't. There's always going to be that portion of our industry that doesn't believe that this is possible, right? Like, how are you guys, this is BS because there's no way that tool that you have on the internet can check and see if it has 2 layers of shingles, check if it has bad decking. Those are my favorite things that I see all the time, because it's like, those are kind of stupid, I think, because, anybody with a brain realizes there's going to be variables. But
right.
You got to have a number one of all time complaint about why this roofer measurements are bogus, or why this tool is going to ruin the industry and y'all are going to kill roofing because this is so wrong. What's the worst one you've ever had? And I know there's got to be one, because we've all got a worst everything.
My dad gave me one that was pretty silly early on. He's just like, it was similar around the like, hey, I got to check the plywood and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, but Dad, I don't want you going on roofs to quote them. If it's a 12-12 and you're measuring, he's old school. He loves doing this stuff and he uses us a lot. But it was just like, I don't want you going on there if you're not going to get the job, or if there's a possibility that you're not going to get a job. In the best situations, you're at like a 40% close rate. If you're like super high and it's a high quality referral, great. But you don't need to take a look at it, and you can just measure it, give out a quote, and send it out to them very quickly. And if they want to do further inspections, great, you could have that there. But the one that stands out is, how do I know if the attic insulation is bad? And I was just like, well, yeah, like you don't. We're not X-ray vision or anything like that. It's not a bad question, but it actually leads into a great conversation. Is with roof measurements, you should still be inspecting the roof. Like you need to go out there to check this if there's multiple layers. You need to go out there to check if the plywood's bad. You should be doing attic inspections. That being said, your time to go out there and take the photos with a company camera or whatever and stuff is greatly like shrunk the amount of time to go out there, inspect and everything, because you already have the measurements. You could just double check a couple things. And John Broche from MHI and Ugly Roof has a great way of doing this, where he gets a lead that comes in from the Instant Estimator or other sources. He creates a project in Roofr, which creates something in Company Cam, a project in Company Cam. He orders that measurement, and by the time his field reps go out there, they have the measurement in their Company Cam account while they're doing the inspection. So they could field verify everything, double check it, make sure it's all good. So I like that question, that objection, because it opens up, well, how are you doing your day-to-day work? How can we improve on that? How can we make sure that you can get to more roofs quicker and close more of them? It's great. And what TJ does too, with like talking about him being our community manager, and I don't know if you've ever seen TJ on stage, but it's a sight to be seen. But he talks about, I'm going to butcher it, so I'll let you take over, TJ. But like, if you're at a site, taking those videos very, very quickly, or even in front of the gated community, because you could get so much information from there.
Yep. Yeah, man. You know, the video, I call it just evidence, like just taking evidence, never creating content, just always having the video camera on, because you capture so many things that can make you so much money, and you just don't even realize it.
That's so true. And there, I mean, it saves you a lot of money too. I remember an example from a few years back. I did a house for a gentleman, and I do all the pictures beforehand and during and after, because, you know, at this point in time, this is a pretty litigious world we live in, and anybody's looking for a reason to try and sue you or do something stupid. So took the pictures of everything. I didn't even notice that there was a giant crack in this guy's window. He calls me about a year later, and he was super mad, right? And he's just messing me up and down. You broke my window. And I'm thinking, well, number one, it was like a year ago. Like, how do you even figure, you know? And I said, well, let me come over and take a look, and we'll see what we can do. And I've got pictures. And I came over and I showed him the picture, and he was like, oh, man, you know, because it's like, well, this was before we did the roof. That's your old roof. That's before we were here. Do you agree that there's a giant crack in the window? And, you know, think about 15 years ago when we didn't have that stuff, you know. We're going to go take it down to CVS and get it developed, and we'll come back in 3 or 4 days and prove it to you. But it's an amazing world that we live in, and speed right now is definitely crucial. And I think that's where you guys really have changed the game.
Yeah, when I started at Mad Sky 8 years ago this year, we were teaching people how to take video utilizing an app on their phone. If you remember, you know, back in those days when inspection processes were going from a field adjuster into a regular roofer or a third party going out to inspect. But the video camera would burn up if you spent more than a minute taking a video, because it'd be 110 degrees there in Texas, and the roofer would be up on the roof and it's 140. And then by the time they took their first minute of video, the phone had burned up. So the technological advancements over the past few years have made it to where now we can capture as much video as we want, but then also protect the company and then also the client.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful world that we live in. So let me ask you guys this, okay? In a brief period of time, I believe that you guys have gone to the top of the charts as far as estimating tools, measurement tools, you name it. I believe Roofr is the best, and I am, again, angling for sponsorship on my podcast, which I've actually reached out to Mr. Nelson himself, and he said yes, but I'm still working on it. So, but you guys have done that in such a
after this.
Yeah, right. I love Roofr, but y'all have done this in such a brief period of time, 3.5, 4 years publicly. I know obviously there was a lot of time probably in development before that, but did you expect it to get this huge, this fast? And what's the forecast for 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road? Is it just going to basically become, hey, this is our world and all the other guys can participate if they want, or they can price themselves completely out of the deal? What are you guys looking to do? Dominate?
Dominate's nice, but like a lot of things, I appreciate those words as well. Like I think going back to like, did we expect this to take off? No, I remember 2018 IRE in Nashville was when we first released our instant estimator. Our DIY measurements, and I have a picture still on my phone that gives me chills. Is like, we were in there and we had a small 10 by 10 booth and we had like 2 TVs up. So we're showing people how to DIY, and we had like a lineup of people, and it was just so crazy. And I remember looking at Richard and our team and being like, oh my God, like this is crazy. Like this is going to work. Like we were just building something to make the marketplace more functional. Didn't expect it to have all these other applications, and it just took off, which is exciting. And then going down the road in the next 5 years or so, 5 years is a long time, so let me shorten that. In the next year, you're going to see a lot of really cool features coming out with us to really kind of have that end-to-end system for a roofer. So complete that funnel. So improvements on our tools already, improvements on the instant estimator with custom items, custom uploads, multiple links, all these other things. And you'll see that coming this week. So I feel pretty comfortable saying that. Improvements on proposals like multi-signatures on multi-pages. We already added, just launched last week, hiding line items, importing from templates, customer counter signatures and all that stuff, or contractor counter signatures. And then improvement on measurements with labeling and all that fun stuff. But what really excites me, and TJ was talking about this the other day too, is we'll be opening up, let's say, light CRM functionality. I don't think we have the idea of going to CRM, but if you think about 85% of this industry is small to medium-sized businesses, and all the bells and whistles of a large CRM is not what they need right now. It's what they'll need in the future. But getting them to that point and getting them over that 5-year hump where 90% of us go out of business is really important. And if we could add in invoicing and payment,
really that number is only 2 seasons.
Exactly.
So, right.
Exactly. That's crazy there to think about it. And then if we could add in something like invoicing and payments, so you could really complete that funnel, that's going to make a huge, huge difference. And then kind of cleaning up that flow in between as well, like being able to show you some metrics and stuff of where you are with your quoting, with your instant estimator, with your measurements, and help out. I think that's where we're looking to go in the short term.
I love it. I see domination for sure. And one thing I will say is, like I said, I've known about you guys since the very beginning, have never used anything other than Roofr since you guys came into my life. And when I was at RoofCon this year, it was really neat because you guys had the entire team there, right? And I saw TJ at first, and it was kind of cool that he even knew who I was. That was the highlight of day 2 of my RoofCon. I was like, oh man, like, world's greatest roofer knows me. I'm doing all right. But you guys were all super cool to me. And I'm going to say, it was like the nicest part of the entire thing was everybody from Roofr stood with me and took a picture. And I think everybody on the entire team came up and just was like, thank you. Like, we appreciate your support. And, to me, that's what makes it so easy to support you guys, because it is so genuine. And I didn't even know that you guys were, roofers that got into it to help the industry. Because in a lot of cases nowadays, it's just, software people that see an opportunity to make money. And honestly, I had no idea that you guys were actually, on this end doing it for the betterment of the industry. So that makes it even more cool. But I definitely appreciate it.
Don't mind.
Go for it.
So Chuck, when I first met Roofr was around the same time, 2018. It wasn't IRE that year. It was Win the Storm, and I met Matt Radford, and I tell this story, and I've told this story to Richard as well, and then of course Nick and the team is, when I very first met Matt Radford, it changed my whole perspective of roofing technology or roofing tech, and he always had that standard about him that Roofr was just above everybody else. The way that they dealt with people, the way they talked to people, the way they worked together with other people, and that's one of the biggest things that attracted me when Richard and I started talking about coming to work for Roofr just over 6 months ago. It was TJ, we love you, and we know you love us, and how can we work together? And but going back to RoofCon, the whole team is like that. It's like a family of people that love working together for the betterment of our industry, and I'm super excited to be the community manager for a team or with a team that loves roofers as much as I do.
It was really cool. Like when TJ, it was actually it's a funny story. TJ started messaging me on Facebook, and I didn't know he was in conversations with Richie, and he was asking me like very pointed questions, like, "Hey, what do you guys like do for the industry and stuff?" And I like wax poetically about like I'm a roofer. I've been on the roof like my entire life. My dad's a roofer and stuff. I didn't know that TJ was vetting us. And it's really, really cool because it's true. Like a lot of us are roofers. We have roofers on the sales team, roofers on our onboarding team and success team. We have roofers. Richard's a roofer and he's the CEO. And like, we really truly care about this industry because, like, for example, my dad's still up there. He's still working 6 days a week roofing. His business has been in business for 28 years. And my mom runs the entire operation as well in the back end. And if we can create systems that can give them a better like work-life balance to spend more time, sell more jobs, make more money, like that's not just something that we could do for the industry, but that's something we could do on a one-to-one person. One of my favorite emails I ever saw that came in our way was a guy from, it was Robert from Ontario. And he sent an email saying, "Hey man, this," and it was to Matt. And again, Matt Radford, the OG, he's such a rock star.
Shout out to Matt.
Matt Radford, Matt the roofer.
Matt's
And
not been feeling the greatest the past few days.
man, those sickness is going around for everybody. My friends too. It's just been it's been rough. So hopefully he's feeling a bit better. But the email that Matt got was like, "Hey man, you don't understand how much this means to me. Not just that I'm selling more, but I'm getting to spend more time with my daughter." And like being able to have that family time. I remember growing up and my dad just always working. And that's why I have a crazy work ethic now, and some would call it a problem. Uh, but it's a good thing to have. But that's like being able to spend more time with your family and helping these people out, not just professionally, but like personally too, is everything to us.
Yep. It really is. Talking with like when you come to work at Roofr, the first month is spent getting to speak to almost everybody on the team or learning your role. And every single person takes that same approach as what Nick's talking about and Matt, that they care about the roofer and they care about that roofing company, so that they can make more money in the future as well as get to spend more time with their family.
Yeah, what an awesome way to view business and doing things for, the greater good. Let me ask you guys this, okay? You talk about the team. How many members are on the team and what individual roles do people have? I'm sure, as it's continued to evolve, the team grows and develops, but I'm sure early on you probably had people that did 20 different things, and now it's like, hey, we've grown and now I only have to do 16 of them. What's the size of the team?
I think we're at 90, right, Nick?
I think it's a little bit less. I think we're at like 78 to 80 or something like that. But like
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed. You know what? I think there's 15 open positions right now and 45 coming for a total of 140 next year.
Exactly. We're looking to grow a lot, and we still wear a lot of hats because honestly, we care a lot. Like TJ works in events, marketing, like content, social. He stretches all over there. I'm in sales, and I kind of like that's my focus, and I run the sales department, but I really focus on being able to kind of help out with partnerships, with marketing, with product and all that stuff, just to give my roofing insight too. Richie, and you want to talk about someone who wears a lot of hats, that guy does everything, and he's got his hands in everything, not in a micromanaging way, as a I care, how can I help? Like where can I be in an assistance? And that's what's beautiful about this team is we really care about kind of like reaching over and kind of doing that helping hand, not only to the roofer, but to each other. And that's how, to answer your question, how we've been able to scale so much in a short period of time. It comes down to the team. TJ and I have some meetings sometimes with like our events team, and it's like we get through the work part very quickly, but it's just like a laugh attack for like an hour.
Those are the best kind of meetings.
Yeah, I've had several meetings in person with the team as well. Well, we call ourselves a team, right? But it's really just a damn family. It really is. But whenever you go to a meeting, it's so on point. But the second that it's not on point, it's just free for all fun. So, Richie, talking about the culture and then also leadership at our company is, Richie definitely lets everybody hold themselves accountable, to a point. But then also he comes in at a loving gesture, and wanting to help, like Nic is saying. And yesterday we were having one of those meetings that we're talking about, and one of our people, Mao, she says, I started to plan a day where we don't have any meetings on his schedule. And he's like, what do you mean a day without any meetings? What would that be like? So, but the same thing, he wants us all to be very successful, and he's always a yes man. There's not been one time that I've ever come to him and asked for something that he didn't say yes. He just wanted to know how we were going to get there. That's the true definition of a leader is as long as your people are producing and we're growing and we're doing it the way that we're supposed to, then everybody, there's no managers, everybody works together. So yeah, and then we'll talk more about that here in just a minute too. So
yeah, definitely. That's one of those I get to go to work, not I have to go to work scenarios. And we all try to cultivate that in our businesses. And I try to have that as well. Sure. And it really does make a difference. I'll tell you, when you look forward to getting up and you don't dread the people that you have to see on a daily basis. And you're like, hey man, I get to hang out with my friends. It makes a world of difference. And I can sense that energy from very early on. I could sense that energy. And like you say, when the top people in the organization are still involved so heavily and they're willing to put their hands in there and, do what it takes to continue to grow and thrive and develop, not just for themselves at that point, but for everybody, makes it easy, right?
Yeah,
it really does.
It's not like a regular, I'm not saying a regular. Sometimes in my roofing past, there have been other people that are a little bit higher than you at each level that like to take the credit for everything that people do.
You don't say.
and it doesn't become a team effort. It becomes a numbers effort. And with this team, our numbers mean everything to every single person on our team and not just one or the other. How much money we make depends on every single person.
It goes down to that's a perfect explanation about how our team works. The biggest part of our team, the most amount of people, is on our customer support team. And I could tell AT&T down there is Rogers up here in Canada. Right. And so I had to call them a couple weeks ago for a change of my billing thing. I was on hold for 45 minutes, and I was close to going back to roofer mode and just start throwing stuff out the window in a blind rage, but I didn't, because I've learned. But I just kept on thinking about our customer support team, what they do for, and I know Chuck, you've dealt a lot with them throughout your years, being able to reach out, ask questions, and then be able to either point you in the right direction, solve it, or connect you with the right person. And that's something that I love, is that they embody the roofer morals and the our core values and stuff so much, because they know that what we are doing and what we are planning on doing is helping out people like you, Chuck, and helping you grow and maintain your business. And that's what's really cool about everything.
Yep, I love it. I do have one quick question. I have to ask this because to me, this is the most amazing aspect of the entire thing. And y'all are probably going to look at me like I'm crazy, but when I draw this up, a DIY report myself, I feel like I'm pretty good. But there's definitely times where I look at it and I'm like, okay, I'm glad I was at this house or I was able to go look at it. So I order one for $15 or $20 or however much people pay. I don't want to give away any secrets there, but
$10.
Okay, mine are I got a good price on mine. So we order this and it's going to be back in 24 hours, right? And all I can imagine is somewhere there is just somebody that's just drawing these things up by hand. Is this how this program actually works? Is there someone doing like me, connecting the dots, looking at it, trying to figure it out? And the reason I ask is because those things are on point every single time. Even when I send screwed up ones where it's like, you know what, they'll probably send it back and say they can't do it. They do it, and it's always right. So I want to give a shout out. If it is human beings that are doing that, you guys hire the best or train the best. But how does that work? How are they so accurate?
Quality assurance, man. Training and quality assurance. Number one, we have rock stars drawing these out. And after it's drawn out, it goes to a reviewer. And after that reviewer is done, it goes to a manager to review it again. And after that one's done, it goes to a lead that makes sure. So there's a lot of quality assurance that kind of goes through, and the training that really, really helps. We do consistent quality updates. We're always tracking, making sure that we can improve on our already good numbers. We're never kind of satisfied with where we are. We always want to get to that next level. But it also comes down to our engineers, like the product team and engineer team built something so easy where you can go in any way you want. It doesn't have to follow like a formula. Like you can just go here, I'm going to start on this turret over here, and then maybe I'll go do that nickel and that bay window, and then I'll do this part over here. Like you can build it out any way you want, and that kind of allows you to be creative and build things out. And speaking of Matt Radford, I'm definitely better at him than DIY. I just want that on record, on the air. We have an internal debate who's better, and he called me out on a recent podcast. So payback.
Hey Chuck,
there you go, Matt. Chuck, and I'll make sure that I isolate that and I post it so Matt will clearly see it and he'll be tagged.
Perfect. You just inspired something in me, so I just texted the entire team and I said, during the next event, whether it be roofing process or whatever, let's do a competition between several people to see who's the best at the DIY.
That would be fun. I'm down for that. We would need to have an impartial viewer because Richie is family. He cannot be the judge because I do not trust him. He will vote for Matt over me right away. But
what if we had somebody like Chuck and then also Nick or somebody else that's really good at it, and then we know that there's other people in the industry like Thais Signs. Her team is really great at the DIY.
Yeah, that would actually be cool. Like third-party judges. It could be like the Olympics, and the Russian judge will always give me a low score, but like that would be Richie. Just vote through everything.
I think that's a cool idea, and honestly, I'd certainly appreciate and respect that because, like I say, there are several times where I have a basic house, and it's like, you know what? I've been trying for 3 or 4 hours, and I can't quite get this thing to line up. I'll spend the money, and it comes back perfect. So that's props to you guys because not all of them are that accurate. Believe me, I can say that from experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you know what? That could be even a bigger master class later, like an advanced master class where you start off the class by drawing, and then the rest of the class is taught by, hey, you could have done this a little bit better. Hey, don't forget this. Because those DIY drawings are very, very cheap, and they're very like if you've got 10-15 minutes to knock it out, you're not going to be wrong on your materials list.
Yeah, it's $0 to $3.50 each on those DIY, so it could really, really kind of speed you up as well and help out. And I think that's like one of the most underutilized tools that we have on our system, because people are like, oh, it takes time to learn. Not a lot of time, and Chuck can kind of attest to it.
Yeah, very simple. I am not the smartest man in this room, and I'm the only person in here right now. So, like, if I can figure out how to do it and I can do a fair job, then anybody can. And I actually love doing them beforehand, and I take them with me as part of my presentation. You know, it's like, hey, look, it's got my brand on it, it's got my logo, it's got everything here. Booyah!
Yeah.
Here's what I base my stuff on. Let me go double check and make sure it's right. And
Yeah.
while I'm here, you know, here's your estimates, you know,
Of
because we don't
course.
get paid by the hour. So
Yeah.
I can appreciate that very much. Nick, I appreciate your time today. If
Yeah, of
anybody is watching this that's not familiar with Roofr, that wants to become affiliated, that wants to check out your program, see what you've got to offer, what is the best way to go about doing that?
Yeah, you could reach out to us directly at roofr.com. That's roofr.com. And or there's a sign above me. I didn't really realize that. And you can go there. There's sign up for free. If you sign up for free, your first measurements for free. Your first 3 DIYs are for free. Your first 5 proposals with tracking the e-signature are free. Try it out. Talk to one of our team members. We're happy to help out. If you do have any additional questions, I'm going to mention social, because we have the world's greatest social roofer ever on here. Like, he is the king of kings. So our YouTube is very, very good with masterclasses, podcasts, DIY, like training videos, all that stuff. And then also just hit TJ, myself, Matt up on Facebook. We're always happy to help out.
Our marketing team and then also our design team has really worked hard for myself, Nick, anybody that's doing social at Roofr, to be able to embed links into everything so that we can keep track of. I mean, our social has been great. So the way that we track things are world class, just like the tools that we sell to other people. So
First class all the way, my friends. I appreciate that very much. And I'm going to go with this because I've been saying this in my head for the last 15 minutes. Nic Capobianco.
That's good.
Thank you for your time today on episode 97 of Keeping It Real. I appreciate it. And yeah, Roofr's the best. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more with TJ about it here, but thank you for taking the time to discuss.
Talk to you soon, guys. Thanks again, Chuck, for everything you're doing.
Yes, sir. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
See you soon, brother.
All right, TJ, that was cool. I always love to be able to talk about companies that I fully appreciate and respect. And I can't say enough about Roofr. They've been awesome to me since day one. Like I said, I have that same shirt you've got on. And that's a vintage shirt at this point.
And Richie likes this shirt a lot when I wear it. But this shirt's we no longer have this shirt. So like every time I wash it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be the last time I get to wear it. So
I'm gonna take mine out of the gym rotation right now. I just took it for granted and felt like maybe someday I could get another one, but no, that's that shirt's coming out.
I was looking back at pictures last night from 2018, 2019, when I had a little bit more hair. And I was wearing a Roofr sweatshirt, and I was like, "Where is that Roofr hoodie? I don't even know where that's at." But definitely the best swag in the industry comes from Roofr for sure. So,
no doubt about that. I absolutely love it. So
we got iron-on patches coming.
Iron-on patches? You're kidding me?
Yeah, no, that's what my next swag is going to be. The Roofr iron-on patch.
Put one right here.
Yep, put it right on the corner.
Make me official. I'm an official Roofr. So I love it. TJ, this is going to be a lot of fun. I appreciate you taking the time out. You are, in fact, the world's greatest roofer. And I am going to change the